The United States should be sued for crimes against humanity. I believe that the path that the United States is taking in the current ongoing wars amounts to crimes against humanity. Why am I saying so? I saw the United States piling pressure on the International Criminal Court and the United Nations to sue Putin and Russia for crimes against humanity. The United States led the NATO delegation to believe that Putin, the Russian president, committed crimes against humanity. They accused Putin of killing children, killing women, and killing innocent civilians. But I believe that what Putin did and what the United States is currently doing are the same. Why am I saying so? Putin was being crucified for causing crimes or resulting in crimes against humanity because he attacked a non-violent nation. He attacked Ukraine, and the result of this attack was the death of innocent civilians. I may consider this direct. Russia and Putin directly contributed in the death of innocent civilians in Ukraine. But the case of the United States is currently supplying weapons to Israel. United States is currently supplying weapons to Ukraine. And you know, the motive for supplying these weapons is for them to be used in war. The weapons that were supplied or are being supplied to Israel are currently being used in Hamas to bomb Hamas, and the result of these bombings is the death of innocent civilians in the Gaza Strip. Children have died in the Gaza Strip. Women have died in the Gaza Strip. Men have died in the Gaza Strip. And in totality, innocent civilians have died in the Gaza Strip. If Russia and Putin is to be blamed for crimes against humanity, for its or their attack on Ukraine and the death of innocent civilians in Ukraine, then the United States must also be blamed for crimes against humanity, because the weapons that the United States provided to Israel are currently being used to bomb the Gaza Strip. I saw a news outlet on, was it Al Jazeera or CNN or BBC, stating that within 24 hours, 436 civilians in the Gaza Strip had been killed. 436 people in one day, including children, women, and men. 436 in 24 hours. If Israel is to be blamed, if Russia is to be blamed, then the United States should also be blamed. And at this point, I question the viability of the United Nations and the United Nations Security Council, because these bodies, these agencies, are concerned with maintaining peace and ensuring that during armed conflict, civilians are protected. All these bodies are silent, and the United States continues to commit atrocities. On this platform and in this discussion, I do argue that the United States should be held accountable for the death of innocent civilians in the Gaza Strip, because the United States is currently supplying Israel with weapons, and these weapons are used to kill innocent civilians in the Gaza Strip. The same law should apply to the case of Ukraine. The United States is supplying Ukraine with modern weapons, and these modern weapons are being used to bomb areas allied to Russia, and the result of these bombings are the death of innocent civilians. The United States, NATO members, and the European Union must be held accountable for the deaths of innocent civilians. And currently we talk about the war between Hamas and Israel. The United States is strongly supporting Israel militarily. These military weapons kill civilians in the Gaza Strip. The United Nations Security Council, and the ICC should hold the United States accountable, personally accountable, for the deaths of innocent civilians in the Gaza Strip. If a warrant of arrest was issued against the Russian President Putin, then a warrant of arrest should be issued against the US President, that is Joe Biden, because these two premiers, these two individuals, committed the same offenses. They orchestrated the death of innocent civilians, and I think they should be treated with the same law, the same procedure. If Putin is guilty of crimes against humanity, then it means that Joe Biden is also guilty of crimes against humanity. I would like to urge the United Nations and the United Nations Security Council that peace is necessary in the current world. The current world needs peace, and it is only through peace that economies will develop and people will progress. If the United Nations was formed with the main goal of preventing war and maintaining peace and security in the globe, then the United Nations should live up to that duty. If the United Nations Security Council was established with the primary motive of discussing issues of peace and war, then the United Nations Security Council should ensure that the current ongoing wars are ended. And if that is done, then I believe that the world will be at peace again.